All right, what's up, guys? Today we're going to take a look at 10 benchmark questions. These are from the spring benchmark again that you guys took right before spring break. We're going to start with number 6 and end with number 15. These are the questions you're answering today on Schoology. Make sure and post them in that discussion thread. Okay, this is me kind of going over the answers. So even if you've already submitted it, come back and take a look at this video so that you'll know what the correct answers were, why they were the correct answers, things like this. Okay, so number 6 says, which chart correctly identifies reasons for and against the ratification of the proposed U.S. Constitution? So we got the key word here is the proposed U.S. Constitution. It's not the actual passing of the Constitution. Okay, the proposed Constitution. I think the big giveaway is on the against side, if you'll look at the chart. And the correct answer is H, because it talks about the proposed document lacked a Bill of Rights. They weren't going to pass the Constitution until it had a Bill of Rights, because the Anti-Federalists, they were anti-federal government, right? They didn't want a strong federal government. They wanted more power to the people. They wanted a Bill of Rights, and they weren't going to pass the Constitution unless it had one. Okay, so that's why it was H for number 6. Number 7 says, which describes the primary reason for the French colonization. Why did the French colonize? Why did they come to America? What were they looking for? Okay, and what they're looking for is going to be D4. They're looking for to profit from fur trades in the Great Lakes region. Anytime you see the colonization of the French, you need to know that they were searching for fur. Okay, they're always trying to make money, always trying to profit and get gold. Of the 3 G's, God, glory, and gold, the French are really looking for gold. They're looking to make money, and they're making this money through the fur trade. Okay, so that's why that was D. All right, next one, number 8. It gives you a quote, and the quote's talking about employment of women. It says 50 to 100 girls, and talks about their wages being paid, having boards and dressing rooms and spinning rooms. Okay, and the question says the economic growth demonstrated by this letter, it was primarily a result of what? How were they trying to get women? What were they trying to get them to do? And the correct answer was J, the new production methods of industrialization. Okay, you guys need to know that women are getting into the workforce here. And they're getting into the workforce by opportunities provided to them to work in factories. Okay, so that's what's getting women into the workforce, that production methods of industrialization. And anytime you see industrialization, you guys need to know it's about factories and the Industrial Revolution. Okay, so that was kind of one of the giveaways. Number 9, again, is another quote, and this time it's a quote from the Mayflower Compact. And it starts by saying, we whose names are underwritten. You guys have seen this before. They're trying to combine themselves into a civil body politic for their better ordering and preservation. It says, for what reasons did a group of colonists agree to this compact? Why did they agree to the Mayflower Compact? And that's going to be to form a social contract amongst themselves. Okay, that was B. To form a social contract amongst themselves is why they agreed to the compact. It was all about self-government, a social contract, that group of pilgrims combining themselves into this contract, binding themselves to it. Okay. 10. Which phrase best represents the U.S. principle of republicanism? Okay, republicanism is a form of government. You need to know that the United States is an example of a Republican government. Okay, and it's not like the political party. Don't get that confused. Republican government is not like the Republican Party. Republican government is really talking about just anytime the people's will, the people's choice is at the focus of that government, where the people get to say, they get to choose. And that answer choice is F. That's what it's talking about, the creation of Congress to carry out the will of the people. All right? Republican government, republicanism, it's always the will of the people, the people's choice, the people vote, right? Number 11. is talking about the Constitution. And it says the author of this is expressing her opinion about what. And in the quote, we know that it's talking about the Constitution. It says it, okay? And it says, is that change requires two elements. So we have change and Constitution. So the only thing of the answer choice that makes sense about this author is change to the Constitution. D talks about amending the Constitution. They're talking about in the quote how to make changes to the Constitution and what has to happen. And in order to make a change, it lists the two things there. You have to have national agreement as well as agreement in most of the states that a problem exists and it can't be remedied by the courts. We have to have an amendment change. 12. Which reasons best completes the diagram? The diagram's talking about reasons for building up the U.S. military. We have American Indian attacks on the frontier, conflicts with pirates in North Africa. Okay, and so it's asking what else is a reason for building up the military, and that reason is H, British impressment of U.S. sailors. Okay, impressment, it's like capturing, like taking the soldiers, capturing them. Sailors, sorry, not soldiers, taking the sailors and capturing them. And this happened in the early 1800s, and it's going to really upset lots of the Americans because their sailors are getting captured, and it's going to be what leads to the War of 1812. Okay, the capturing of U.S. sailors, the impressment, leads to the War of 1812, and that is the reason for building up the military. We're building up a military because we're going to go to war again with Great Britain. All right. Next is number 13. This excerpt supports the conclusion that Jefferson disagreed with. Okay, what is Jefferson disagreeing with? And in the quote, again, similar to a couple questions ago, we're talking about the Constitution. And so it says, the Constitution, it gives judges the right to decide what laws are constitutional. Okay, that's the key sentence from the quote. It's the second sentence. I'll read it again. It says, but the opinion which gives to the judges the right to decide what laws are constitutional and so it's talking about the power of the judicial branch. And what's the power of the judicial branch? Sorry. What's the power of the judicial branch? That power is judicial review. Okay, judicial review is the power of the judicial branch. Thomas Jefferson here, he's afraid that the judicial branch, given this power of judicial review, isn't going to maintain checks and balances. It's going to make the judicial branch too powerful. That was Thomas Jefferson's fear, and that's what the question is talking about. Number 14 says, how did opposition to this system affect the economy of the early republic? And this economy that they're talking about is mercantilism. Okay, we've talked about mercantilism early in the school year. We talked about it a lot. Mercantilism is this economic system where you trade only with the mother country. You can only send your goods to the mother country. Again, this is another thing that really upsets the colonists, a reason for the Declaration of Independence. They didn't want to just trade with England. They wanted to trade with who was convenient, who would make them the most money. And so the opposition to this system is why a free enterprise system was adopted. That's answer choice J. And a free enterprise system just means like a free trade system where they could do exactly what I just talked about, where they could trade with whoever they want, whoever offered the most money, whoever was the most convenient, whoever was the closest, whatever they wanted. It was really, but that's what free enterprise is. It's to trade with whoever they wanted. Okay, and mercantilism pushed them to this free enterprise system. They knew they didn't like mercantilism. They wanted to trade with whoever they wanted, not just the mother country, Great Britain. Okay, last question, number 15 asks, what action is one part of the official path to U.S. citizenship through the naturalization process? Okay, and the pathway to citizenship is passing a U.S. civics exam. That's the only requirement out of the ones listed that you have to have in order to become a U.S. citizen. You just got to pass a civics exam, and civics is talking about like your rights and your duties as a citizen. So once you become an American, these are your rights, these are the things that you should do as a citizen. You have to pass one of those exams. It's the only one that makes sense. The other ones are not requirements at all. You don't have to be employed. You could still, if you want to live with family, you don't have to have a job. You don't have to attend college, okay? These are not requirements. And working for the U.S. government, again, not a requirement. The government can't force you to have a job. If you have a situation where you don't have to work, you're set up, or you're retired, or you can live with family, okay, the other two answer choices, you can eliminate them by knowing that the United States can't force you to have a job, right? That's got to be a choice. Okay, so that covers those 10 questions. I hope this all makes sense. If you have any questions, please message me or email me on Schoology, or you know how to access my email address, okay? Thank you guys. We'll see you.